gives to any operator who's looking at, and Indian Railways mostly runs the entire markets on its own. There's 3.65 billion total originating passengers on Indian Railway network, and it has a broad network of 68,000 kilometers, and reserved passengers constitute almost 590 million passengers. But out of this, there is a huge waiting list of 88.5 million wait-listed passengers, as was in the previous fiscal year. Indian Railways has ambitious plans of investing 1.6 lakh crores in the current financial year. So this project is a design, finance, procure, operate, maintenance of the passenger trains on a long-term basis. And it entails an investment of $4 billion or 30,000 crore rupees. The 12 independent clusters have been announced with 109 originating routes and 151 trains. The reasons to invest: it provides an proven unmet demand is already in the network. It provides a very robust long-term concession and has an established infrastructure which has been running for decades, and operational freedom to the concessionaire, and that I will come to the next one. So there's 3.65 billion passengers per year is the size of the market. Let's look at the rights of the investors and the obligations and payments that it is required to make. Pricing, service, and operational flexibility is all the rights that the private concessionaire would have. Freedom to choose halts in the routes, and freedom to procure the rolling stock of his choice, meeting the specification and standards. Obligation and payments: fixed haulage charges would be payable and declared upfront by the Ministry of Railways in the concession agreement, which would be indexed annually to the wholesale price index or other indexation that would be clearly specified. Considering that the energy is a very important component in operations, the energy charges would be paid as per actuals, so it will entail people with higher efficiency to bring in higher efficient rolling stock. Percentage share in gross revenue would be the bidding parameter. So the private investors, the obligations on the private investors are to design, finance, procure, operate, and maintain the trains, set up or upgrade the depot and the maintenance facility, fulfill the key performance indicators like punctuality, reliability, and upkeep of trains, and Make in India would be an important component. Maximum 3 trains could be imported, the rest needs to be sourced from India. Provide access to track and other fixed would be the responsibility of the railways. Provide right-of-way access to depot site. Provide priority at par with premium trains on the Indian Railways. Provide loco pilot and the guard for operating such trains. So 2-stage bidding process has been envisaged, and the first stage is already on. The RFQ for application, and based on the financial capacity of 50% of the estimated project cost, is only the financial eligibility criteria that is prescribed, leaving the market wide open for anybody to participate and get into this business. The second stage would be an RFP stage, which is the financial bidding stage. The clusters, it has 12 clusters as we have seen, and the estimated project cost and the financial capacity, which is 50% of the estimated project cost, is mentioned here. The bid parameter is percentage share in gross revenue. So as has already been shared, that 12 RFQs have been issued for shortlisting of bidders. The bid application due date is October 7, 2020. And investors can bid for as many clusters. So there's no restriction on any bidder getting 1 cluster, 2 cluster. He can bid and win all the 12 clusters. That all the documents has been shared in a transparent manner, like the draft concession agreement, the specification and standards have been, and the feasibility report have been shared with all and put in the public domain and available to all bidders and any member of the public. So that was the station project, trains project. Now let's move to the 2 station projects. The first one is the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminal at Mumbai, which is called the Mumbai VT. This is the only UNESCO heritage listed station in India, and the footfall in this station is more than 0.5 million plus passengers every day. Highlights of the station, the heritage is to be maintained and enhanced. That's the UNESCO requirement. And integrating of the long distance and the suburban is a very important challenge in these stations. The master plan of the station was developed originally by Messrs. Arup Villers of France, and IRSDC would be executing this station. The reasons to invest in this station that it provides a continuous revenue stream from passengers. 60 years concession period for the station. By the same time, certain land parcels would also be available for 99 years, which would be for the residential development. 60 years is for the lease for commercial basis, and up to 0.25 million of square kilometers would be the built up area available for development. Real estate would also be developed at CSMT, Wadi Bandar, and Baikula. Shifting of railway facilities existing in the present location would also be undertaken by this concessionaire. The project facilitation, we have moved very much forward to getting upfront clearances and provide comfort to the bidders. Infrastructure status has been accorded to this entire project. Land use required for real estate has already been approved. Environmental clearances would only, IRSDC would only be needed to ensure compliance with the Ministry of Environment guidelines. Ministry of Guidelines has no more role in providing any clearance in this project. Single window clearance of plans or to concessionaires by IRSDC is another hallmark of this project. So this estimated cost of the project is 1642 crores, which is around $235 million US. A two-stage bidding process similar to the trains project. First RFQ is already in the market, and the eligibility criteria is also, there is no technical eligibility criteria, it's only a financial capacity eligibility criteria in terms of net worth or ACI. Even funds are eligible to participate in this project. Once the first stage is over, the second stage would be the RFP where only financial bids would be obtained. The bid parameter is the highest annual concession fee. So RFQ has been issued, pre-bid conference is on 25th September, and application due date is 22nd of October, and the RFQ is available in the website. Let's move on to the New Delhi railway station, and this is one of architectural pictures of how the structure may look like in the near future. This New Delhi station is a unique project. It's in the central hub of Delhi, and it also handles 0.5 million plus passengers every day. 400 plus trains operate from this station. Highlights of this project, that potential to handle high-speed connections in future. Airport, metro, and other stations connectivity would also be provided. Initial plans for these stations were developed by Messrs. Terry Farrell and partners. The reasons to invest, let's look at it. They again provides continuous stream from passengers, 60-year-old concession, 60-year lease for commercial. There's no residential portion in this station project. And 0.66 million square meters of built-up area is available. The prime real estate adjacent to Connaught Place is the hallmark of this project. The similar facilitation as in Mumbai, the infrastructure status has been accorded for this project. Master plan and commercial real estate have all been approved. Environmental clearance, RLD is the executing authority here. They will ensure compliance with the Environment Ministry regulations, and single window clearance to plan of concessionaires by RLD would be provided. The estimated cost of this project is 4,925 crores, which is almost $703 million US. The first stage bidding, since considering the high cost of this project, the financial capacity is only eligibility criteria here, but it is slightly lower. It's 25% of the estimated cost of the project. That's around 1,250 crore or $180 million. The second stage would be only a financial bidding stage, and bid parameter here also is highest annual concession fee. The RFQs have been issued. The pre-bid conference is common. That's 25th September. It's a common bidding conference. Common pre-bid conference would be held on that date. And the application due date is 6th November 2020. The RFQs have been put in the public domain. So that's what is all these three projects, and I leave it for the question answer sessions.
Thank you, Mr. Saha. Now, I request CEO Niti Aayog to set the template for all the discussions that we'll have and what he has to speak about the whole plan of modernization of railways now. Sir.
As chairman of the group of secretaries, which is driving this, I first wanted to congratulate chairman of the Railway Board and the Ministry of Railways, particularly the Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, for this very unique initiative, because this is a paradigm shift in what the railways has been doing, because it is going to rewrite the growth story of India in many ways. And this is very important because it brings a first of its kind initiative in the country where private entities will source and operate modern technology trains. They will source and operate modern technology trains for undertaking passenger business using Indian Railways infrastructure. And this creates a win-win situation for Indian Railways as well as investors by tapping into the potential of huge, massive unmet demand in passenger business. We are looking at about 109 OD pairs. They are divided into 12 clusters requiring 151 trains. They are being taken up for transparent competitive bidding. And some of the most attractive routes across the country, based on huge unmet demand, will be put out to run premium passenger services. This would mean that you will have quality trains, new technology, and they will use railway infrastructure, and therefore concessionaire will be free to charge market-linked fares to passenger, and they will be providing value-added services for food, comfort, entertainment, for individualized and enhanced passenger experience. And what will happen as a consequence of this is like when you had private airlines, Indigo, Vistara, all operating in Indian Air space, you have seen the pressure for everyone to improve, and therefore this will radically change India over a period of time. The private sector investment we are looking at it is about 30,000 crores, 4.3 billion into passenger operation. Completely new technology will come in. The RFQ has already been floated, and the due date, application due date, RFQ due date is October 7, 2020. And we are very confident that this will bring in investments in India for modern technology of railways from across the world. The second is about development of railway stations. The Prime Minister has talked about it earlier. The proposed redevelopment stations we are looking at is iconic world-class airports with facilities to really give better facilities to passenger through state-of-art facilities, user-friendly systems, technology-enabled services. Much like you've seen new airports in Delhi and Mumbai, you will see completely new stations which will drive India's growth. In the heart of capital, airports are far away, but railway stations are in the heart of the city, and you will see completely new stations. There will be well-planned, holistic development. In the empowered group of secretaries, we also have the Secretary Urban Development and the Secretary Department of Economic Affairs. They've all worked for this. So holistic development in the area which will cater to long-term transit and economic needs of the city. And this will lead to all-round economic development. Project allows expansion of railway stations under brownfield model with huge existing passenger footfall. So you already have passenger traffic. It's a brownfield investment, and therefore we envisage lot of international bidders to come in, and there will be prefixed and affordable user fee, which will be notified by Ministry of Railways to ensure no burdens on passengers. Our objective is to do about close to 50 railway stations by the end of next year. And this would mean an investment we are looking at is about close to 1 lakh crores in the Indian Railways. RFQ for 10 stations has already been floated. We've had an overwhelming participation in the first is 8 stations of Gwalior, Amritsar, Sabarmati, Nagpur, where we had almost 42 applications. And we envisage that the New Delhi railway station, which is the oldest and the most populous station in the heart of Delhi, which is in proximity to major international traffic gateway, has over 5 million passengers and operates over 400 trains. We will see a huge response to this, because there'll be not only there'll be huge commercial development, and the application due date is November 6th. And then we have the CSTM, the UNESCO Heritage Site, which again caters to 5 million passengers, and this is an opportunity to participate in a very unique way in the development of Mumbai. So both Delhi-Mumbai station plus the other 8 stations plus about 150 passenger trains are all being developed through private-public partnership, which is what has been done in highways.
And we have lots of people on the web also. So let's take some questions from here. Yeah.
Sir, this is
Kindly introduce yourself also first.
Sure, sir. So this is Shine Jacob from Business Standard newspaper. Sir, I have 2 questions. First question is to Mr. Kant and then to Mr. Yadav. The concept of station redevelopment started in 2006 when Terry Farrell and partners first came up with the redevelopment of New Delhi railway station. So, Mr. Kant, you had been in the past very vocal about the slow pace about station redevelopment. So, at present, with the current developments, are you happy with what is your take actually on the current pace of station redevelopment?
I'm not only happy, I'm very satisfied, and I'm very satisfied that we've all worked together. The entire government has worked together, from Niti Aayog to Economic Affairs to Urban Development. We've all worked with Ministry of Railways and given it a big push. We've gone beyond what we had dreamt of.
And Mr. Yadav, my question is, it's great that Railways is actually opening up for private players. So are you contemplating any idea of roping in private players for at least one of the planned 7 bullet train projects or any other projects in terms of route? I'm asking you.
Certainly. We have started doing the feasibility study for 7 sections. And all these 7 sections, not only one, all these 7 sections will be open for private-public partnership.
Thank you. May I request all of you to kindly stay focused on the subject we are here today. You can try not to answer other things or raise questions. Second would be, you kindly introduce yourself also, please.
सर मैं अजीत झा हूँ यूनिवार्ता से.
Yeah.
मेरा प्रश्न, एक तो बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल दिया अमिताभ कांत जी ने कि जैसे एयरपोर्ट में इंडिगो और विस्तारा के आने के बाद, तो सर कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि जिस तरह से एयर इंडिया को अभी बेचना पड़ रहा है, वो नुकसान में चली गई, तो इंडियन रेलवे का भी यही स्थिति हो. और दूसरी बात सर मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि अच्छी बात है, निवेशकों के लिए भी उनको भी फ़ायदा होगा, मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी भी आएगी, और जो लोग ज़्यादा पे कर सकते हैं वो मॉडर्न ट्रेन्स में जाएंगे, इन प्राइवेट ट्रेन्स में सफ़र कर पाएंगे और उनको टिकट के लिए इंतज़ार नहीं करना पड़ेगा. लेकिन सर अभी हमने देखा इस लॉकडाउन के दौरान कि मजदूरों का क्या महत्व है, और जैसे मुंबई एक बड़ा स्टेशन है, दिल्ली भी एक बड़ा स्टेशन है जहाँ की वो आवाजाही करते हैं, खास करके बिहार और उत्तर प्रदेश के लिए. तो सर उनको इससे किस तरह का फायदा हो, खास करके जो आप यूजर चार्ज लगाएंगे तो वो क्या अफोर्डेबल होगा उनके लिए भी?
देखिए, पहली चीज तो यह है कि ये प्राइवेटाइजेशन नहीं कर रहे हैं हम लोग किसी चीज का. हम लोग वही ये प्राइवेट पब्लिक पार्टनरशिप है कि रेलवे के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे कोई आकर ट्रेन चलाएगा, तो और कुछ समय के लिए चलाएगा, और उस समय के बाद वो ट्रेन प्राइवेट, क्योंकि बीओटी है, बिल्ड ऑपरेट ट्रांसफर है, वो चला के उतने साल के बाद वो ट्रेन वापस रेलवे को देगा. उतने साल में वो ऑपरेट करेगा, और उससे होगा क्या कि वो नई टेक्नोलॉजी लाएगा जो कि हमारे देश में आवश्यक है। इसी तरह जब बैंक्स खुले, तो बाहर के बैंक्स आए, तो ये थोड़ी ना हुआ कि प्राइवेट बैंक्स आए, HDFC आया, कोटक महिंद्रा आया, ICICI आया, इसका मतलब ये थोड़ी ना हो गया कि SBI बंद हो गए। इसका मतलब ये है कि कंपटीशन हुआ, कंपटीशन में से इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ, और कंपटीशन से सबको देश का इम्प्रूवमेंट होगा, तो कंपटीशन लाना जरूरी है। नई टेक्नोलॉजी आएगी, बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी टेक्नोलॉजी आएगी, और हमारा लक्ष्य ये है कि हम ग्रोथ को ड्राइव करें, और रेलवे शुड बिकम एन इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑफ इंडियाज ग्रोथ। और क्योंकि मॉडर्नाइजेशन की आवश्यकता है देश में, इसलिए बहुत आगे चल के बहुत ज़्यादा इससे इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी जो और देशों में हुई है कि रेलवे, जापान की ग्रोथ स्टोरी, कोरिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी आप देखिएगा, रेलवे ने बहुत बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण रोल प्ले किया है। और इसलिए हम लोग बिल्कुल कन्विंस्ड हैं कि रेलवे आगे चल के 1.5 से 2% ग्रोथ रेलवे सेक्टर कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी।
मैं इसमें ऐड करना चाहूँगा कुछ। ये जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि भारतीय रेल में जो कैपेसिटी कंस्ट्रेंट है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंस्ट्रेंट है, उसकी वजह से हम डिमांड के हिसाब से ट्रेनें नहीं चला पा रहे हैं, चाहे वो पैसेंजर ट्रेन हो चाहे फ्रेट ट्रेन हो। और मैं इस ट्रेनें इस पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप में चले, और जहां तक आपने कहा कि श्रमिक या कॉमन मैन के लिए, हम उनके लिए भी ट्रेनें बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, और उसके लिए भी भारतीय रेल ट्रेनें बढ़ाएंगी। और एक पूरा उद्देश्य ये है कि जो डिमांड है, हम इस समय हमारे पास बहुत ही अनमेट डिमांड है, वेटिंग लिस्ट होती है, लोगों को जर्नी करने के लिए जगह नहीं मिलती है। वैसे ही हम फ्रेट में भी जो है, जिस तरह से इकोनॉमी ग्रो कर रही है, उस हिसाब से हम फ्रेट भी नहीं कैरी कर पा रहे हैं, और फ्रेट रोड की तरफ जा रहा है, हमारा मॉडल शेयर गिरता जा रहा है। तो इन सबको ध्यान में रखते हुए, और जो ये प्राइवेट पब्लिक पार्टनरशिप से जो ये ट्रेनें चलेंगी, वो एक बहुत ही थोड़ा सा सेगमेंट होगा जो प्रीमियर सेगमेंट को कैटर करेंगी। और जहां तक कॉमन मैन के लिए है, वो भारतीय रेल जो अभी ट्रेनें चला रही है उससे भी ज्यादा ट्रेनें चलाएंगी, और ये सुनिश्चित किया जाएगा कि जो कॉमन मैन है उनको भी अच्छी से अच्छी सुविधा जो आज मिल रही है उससे भी अच्छी सुविधा मिले। धन्यवाद।